oh yes, oh yes. This commission in the four Putnam County is now in session. God bless the United States. God bless Putnam County. God bless this honorable commission. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chief. The first thing on the agenda tonight is the invocation. That's from District 3. And I believe Pastor Steve Warren is going to do that. David, you're going to introduce him? Go ahead. Sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's all right tonight. And I have Pastor Steve Warren here with Faith Chapel Ministries. He's going to administer the prayers tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's bow our head and pray. Before we pray tonight, I've always used this motto. I was raised in the Appalachian Mountains by a little Cherokee Indian woman, and she would say this: prayer changes things. And then she would say, when prayer doesn't change things, it will change you, and God will enable you to change things. So we want the Spirit of the Lord to be in this place tonight for decisions that are not just right in some people's eyes, but righteous in the eyes of the Lord. Father, we ask you tonight, Lord, that you wrap your arms around our county, Lord, and the commissioners and those that make decisions, Father, those that you have placed in power to govern our region. And Lord, we lean not to our own understanding, but we look unto you, the author and the finisher of our faith. And Lord, we believe that the Holy Spirit is a teacher and a guider and also a protector. So Lord, we thank you tonight that we've got you to lean upon. We thank you that we've got you to look unto. And we ask these things tonight in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Will everyone stand and please face our prayer? I pledge
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner Gentry. Item number 4, roll call. Mr. Clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets and press yes for me, please. Everybody just press yes for me. Stop right there, please. Please don't press anything until I give you the go tonight, okay? All right, everybody, now press confirm for me. Everybody, please press confirm. Thank you so much. Oh, there it goes. I have to line that little, sometimes that little card gets slipped off a little bit. All right, hang on. Mr. Chairman, you have 21 present and 3 absent. I declare that there is a quorum tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Item number 5, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Item number 6, approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve last month's minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Item number 7, unfinished business and action thereon by the board. Report of standing committees. Planning Committee.
No unfinished business.
Fiscal Review Committee.
No unfinished business.
Nominating Committee.
No unfinished business.
Public comment period. Tonight we have 3 people that have asked to speak during the public comment period. Very briefly, for those of you that are here, we obviously have a lot of people in the crowd tonight. People that ask ahead of time to speak may do so, and they're speaking on items that are on our agenda. The first person to speak tonight is Ms. Stacy Schultz.
Good evening. I speak tonight to object to Agenda Item 9A 2B. You may be asking yourself, why on earth would she object to this? The reason is because the two-page agenda published on November 10th included zero information about the proposed amendments. And the Fiscal Review Committee met just 5 minutes prior to this committee meeting and apparently approved the recommendation for you all to consider tonight. The agenda and the minutes of the standing committees are never published on the county website. I'm going to give you an example. October 20 board minutes reflect that the Fiscal Review Committee recommended approval of budget amendments. The minutes included a memo dated October 3rd, signed by the county clerk, Mr. Wayne Neighbors. In my opinion, this should have been attached to the October 20 agenda that was published on October 13th. It turns out that the clerk's request to transfer $29,000 was for the purchase of 28 office chairs from our local Office Mart, which I learned from a public records request disclosure. At first glance, I thought $29,000 was a lot of money for chairs. But after looking at the details, it appears that these chairs are ergonomically designed to prevent workplace injuries, which will in turn save the county money. I also found that other national suppliers can sell these at slightly lower prices, but those suppliers only ship the chair in pieces, so our county maintenance team would need to assemble the chairs. And having assembled business office chairs, that's not easy and it takes time. So therefore, after looking at all of this information, I felt like the Office Mart price was the most reasonable and beneficial. I use this example just to demonstrate how to explain the benefit of such large purchases.
Ms. Schultz, your time's about up.
Very quickly, one sentence. It requires just a little extra effort on your part, but it means that you give transparency to your work, and otherwise it looks like you just rubber stamp everything. Thank you.
Our next speaker tonight is Danny Rader.
Thank you, Chairman Cassidy. I know many of you, but those of you that don't know me, I'm Danny Rader. I'm an attorney here in town, and I also serve on the Putnam County Library Board, and I'm privileged to do so. I'm here tonight. I know you all know about some controversy that's gone on in the library. I talked to one commissioner before the meeting who said that he's gotten more calls on this subject than any other topic in the history of being on the commission. And I understand this is a very sensitive issue to a lot of people. I want to tell you tonight 2 points that I made at the first library board meeting where this came up, where we had the first group of attendees. Number one, it's very important to the library board and to the library staff that we have a safe and welcoming library for all people. Number two, it's very important to the library board and to the library staff that we not have sexually explicit material in books that are accessible to children in the children's library or in the youth library. That is a commitment that the library has made, and we stand by. I know many people here are concerned of the possibility of a book ban. I want to assure you and your constituents that that is not something that the library is going to entertain, and it's not something the library has been asked to do. I think that there's perhaps a misunderstanding and some misinformation about that that I want to dispel. And even if it were something that we're asked, it's not something that the library is going to entertain. Keeping the environment safe for our children is something that's very important to me as a person who grew up in this community, going to the Putnam County Library as a child, going to the children's library and reading. It's very important to me that that not happen, that we not have sexually explicit material accessible to children in that regard. I know the library staff feels the same way. I know there's a concern because people don't know the library staff because they're not public figures. But I want to tell you that in my time on the board, we have some of the best staff that we've ever had. We're really, really thrilled with the group that we have. Dr. Catherine Weisinger is our library director. She's doing a tremendous job, tremendous outreach. our children's librarian, Carol Teeters, is one of the finest people that I've ever met. She is really, really attentive to this issue. Obviously, there are some books in the library that shouldn't be in the children's section. You may hear some quotes from some of those tonight. I'm as upset about that as any of you and
Mr.
any of your
Rader,
constituents. I'm almost
wrap it
done.
up. Thank you.
I just want to assure you all that the library intends to remove those books to the adult section. We're not going to ban any books, but we are going to make the place a safe environment for the children of Putnam County. Dr. Weisinger can explain how they got here. We're going to take care of this issue. We're going to figure out what it takes to prevent them from getting into the library again in the future, and we're going to adopt policies to address that. Finally, and I thank you, Chairman Cassidy, for your indulgence. Finally, the library board has submitted a nomination of Diane Duncan. The reason we submitted that is not to exclude anybody else, but we know that Diane Duncan has the experience that we need on the library board from her service as a librarian for many years to help us identify ways to prevent this from happening again in the future. So we're bringing that nomination to you, the library board is, because we need that support and we need that help, not to the detriment of anyone else or to the exclusion of anyone else. Thank you, Chairman.
Our last speaker tonight is Jill Horner.
Thank you. I have been attending library board meetings for the last 3 months, and I want to thank Mr. Rader for everything he said, and I do believe everything he said to be true. So we're entering a time of Thanksgiving, and I want to tell you what I'm thankful for due to this experience. Thankful for leaders who are willing to listen to passionate debate about how to best protect the innocence of children when they use a public library. These young people will be the future leaders of the community, and we should provide every opportunity for them to excel in virtue, intellect, and spiritual, physical, and mental health. I'm thankful for elected officials who listen, lead with conviction, and act when necessary, especially Luke Eldridge, Ollie Baji, Maria Porter, and this commission, who have no doubt received a lot of input from differing viewpoints. I'm thankful for the library board that listens to criticism, questions, opposing viewpoints, and passionate debate with intentionality, patience, and order. I'm thankful for the library director, Dr. Weisinger, who's been willing to engage with her board, taxpayers, elected officials, state and regional library officials, library staff, and the media. That is a lot. I'm thankful for Secretary of State Trey Hargett, who's given direction to libraries across the state on how to manage this issue in the children and teen sections. I'm thankful for a community of people who love the library and the service it provides to our county and have worked to sustain it for many years. The common agreement that is the job of parents to determine when and how their children are exposed to sexual topics. And that's one thing I think we all agree on. And I'm also thankful for the 2 women that you'll hear from tonight, who are both quality citizens who bring valuable and perhaps different skill sets to the conversation. Diane Duncan served well here as our librarian for many years, and her knowledge is important. And I believe she'd be willing to give it no matter what her position. And then Mary Lee Booker, who brings a little different skill set. She's an author, she's a lover of literature. Like me, she's a grandmother who has small children that she participates in their education.
Ms. Horner.
So thank you.
Time. Thank you. I do want to apologize. I apparently missed one name, and before I pronounce this, I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce it. Sarah Kruskoff?
Good evening.
Time out. Can you spell your last name for me, please, ma'am? I'm sorry, I'd never make it if you don't.
K-R-U-S, Z as in zebra, K-A.
You got it.
S,
S.
Z as in zebra, K-A.
Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Kruska, and I am honored to speak to you today about something incredibly important to me, the Putnam County Library. Today you are being asked to vote to approve Diane Duncan to the Library Board of Directors. I'd like to thank Ms. Duncan for being willing to serve, and I am excited for the experience that she will bring to the board. I probably don't need to tell you how important the library is, but I'm going to anyway. Literacy is important, reading is important, and access to books, no matter one's income, is vital for both. But the library, our library, goes well beyond books. There's also a seed library and all sorts of programming open to the public. Programs for children, teens, seniors, those with disabilities, or anyone interested. You can get free tax and legal advice at various times of the year, or attend a wide variety of lunch and learn sessions. The library has hosted free meals for our unhoused citizens, distributed hygiene kits, and hosted job fairs. During bad weather, when most of us probably prefer to be home safe with our families, the library is open as a tornado shelter for those who have no other place to go. I've seen the library's outreach expand under our current library director and her staff at a rate that astounds me. And telling you about everything would go on well beyond my allotted time. So I'll end with this. It's no secret that libraries, including our own, have recently faced challenges to their materials. By having attended monthly board meetings, I can tell you that our library has a well-qualified staff that has been very proactive in responding to all formal challenges. And they have listened at length to community concerns. We are incredibly lucky here in Putnam County, so when you vote to approve Diane Duncan today, you should do so with pride. Our library really is the most important place in town. Thank you.
Item C, report of special committees. Item D, other unfinished business. The minutes need to reflect that Commissioner Terry Randolph moved out of his district and is therefore no longer qualified to serve, and that is a position that we will be filling at our December board meeting.
Do we need a motion to accept?
We do not, because he moved out, we do not need a motion to accept. Number 8, quarterly reports and action thereon by the board. A, road fund.
We just group them.
B, school funds. And C, county general fund, debt service fund, solid waste and sanitation fund, parks and recreation fund, and the self-insurance fund. Do I have a motion to accept the quarterly reports as presented?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the quarterly reports. Any discussion on the quarterly reports? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Item number 9, new business and action thereon by the board. Report of standing committees. Planning Committee.
Planning Committee recommends approval of the following equipment to be sold via internet public auction for the Highway Department as follows: the 1998 Athlete Dirt Loader, serial number SN740-202, and I so move.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the sale of the equipment as mentioned. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. I declare that motion to have passed.
Item B, consider whether or not to approve Jackson Law application for Novastis for proposed facility at 22 CC Camp Road, Cookeville, Tennessee.
And I believe that came forward with no recommendation.
Correct.
Before we get started on this, County Attorney Jones is going to give us a little presentation update?
Well, just real quick, the components of the Jackson Law, this can be found starting at Tennessee Code Annotated 68-211-701. And what this basically does is it gives counties and municipalities the authority to approve or deny the construction of new landfills or solid waste processing facilities within their jurisdiction. A local government usually opts into the Jackson Law, which Putnam County did in November of 1989. So any proposed facility that comes before this body has to be evaluated based on 8 statutory criteria. Number 1, the type of waste, and that's the nature and classification of the waste to be disposed of at the facility. Number 2, the method of disposal, the specific disposal techniques or technologies that will be used. Number 3, the impact from noise and odor, the projected effects on surrounding areas due to noise and odor generated by the facility. Number 4, the impact on property values. Number 5, traffic and infrastructure, whether or not existing roads and bridges are adequate to handle the increased traffic expected from the facility. Number 6 is economic impact, financial implications, both the city, county, or both. This includes potential costs and benefits. Number 7, zoning and development compatibility, whether or not the proposed facility aligns with existing zoning regulations and development plans. And lastly, a catch-all, public health, safety, or welfare, any other factor that may affect the well-being of the public. The county commission has got to make a decision on this application based on these criteria, not based on political or personal preferences. In a Jackson Law hearing, typically the applicant has the burden of proof, so it's on the applicant, it's up to the applicant to prove that they've met the statutory criteria. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
So following up with what Attorney Jones said, this is, in a sense, a hearing. And I assume there are people here from Novastus tonight that would like to present evidence to us, if you will, and then there may be people that may speak that may present other evidence that is separate, that is different than being public comment. So I'll now, anybody that's from Novastus that would like to come up and address the commission. Please state your name when you get up here.
Hello, my name is Kelly Warbus. I'm the co-founder of Novastus. We were here about 4 years ago in front of y'all, talking and asking the same thing, putting in a facility that would take municipal solid waste and turn it into a fuel. And at that time, we really didn't have an idea how we were going to do it, but since then we've put the science behind it. We've done a lot of things with it. We've probably had, in the last 2 years, over 150 groups from around the world in Putnam County, whether you know it or not. We didn't do any marketing. They just heard word of mouth that we were doing something different. Our process uses garbage that comes off a garbage truck. We use, at the front end, we have to do the same thing that what a total material recovery facility does, where we pull off the high value plastics, the metals, anything that's got value for recovery, and we get the metals off to protect our system. We, as making a fuel, if it's going to an electrical plant, we have to get a lot more ash out of the system. That ash is the inert material. It's the dirt, the concrete, the glass, that sort of thing that's in the mix. The remaining fraction is still wet, nasty garbage, and we run it through what we call our NovaDry system, and we've developed the proprietary, we've developed all the patents and everything on that, which is a non-thermal process using a lot of air. It pulverizes and dewaters at the same time. And what we're left with is a material that looks like blown-in insulation or dryer lint, and it has about the same BTU value as coal from Wyoming, but it has about a third of the greenhouse gases. The fuel is also a green, it's a carbon negative fuel, because if it just went to the landfill, every ton of garbage that goes to the landfill produces about 1.7 metric tons of CO2 equivalent. It takes 2 tons of garbage to make 1 ton of our Nova fuel. So the reason that is, we pull the recovered material out, and then it's made up of about 40–50% water after that. And by taking the water out, that's the reason it takes 2 tons. So our fuel is a negative 3.4 metric tons CO2 equivalent negative fuel. So if it goes into somebody combust it, whether it's gasifying, goes in for electricity or just for heat, there's still some carbon that goes to the atmosphere, but you're starting with carbon negative fuel. So what we have done, our facility is too small to safely bring groups of people in. We're at the commercialization stage. The facility next door is about 30,000 square feet, and it allows us to bring groups of people in to see the process done on a continual basis. They see the garbage come in the front door, they see it pulverized, they see the recyclables come off, get baled up, they see the fuel, the garbage get turned into fuel, and go out to our off-takers. So that's the process. As far as, I've heard a lot of things in the last 2 months since we had the public hearing. Number one, we don't burn anything. This is a no pressure, no heat, and air. So the traffic will not change, or actually off of CC Camp Highway, when you think about what used to be in our neighborhood, there was a FedEx facility there that had a lot of trucks coming 24/7. We'll never get close to the traffic that was in there. And again, we feel that we'll bring about 125 groups. I don't have hearing aids.
It's definitely that.
So one other thing that I'd like to point out, I've heard people say that trash is blowing around, that they smell stuff. We use a ton of air, so it's a negative airflow situation. It's nothing like a transfer station or anything like that. When our doors are open, our air comes from the same place the garbage trucks are going into. And by creating that, the odors and everything else stays within the confines of our building. And the garbage is processed immediately upon delivery. So there's nothing sitting around for that. We process it immediately and turn it into a fuel and move on. So that's where it is. That's what we came in front of you 4 years ago to talk about. Today it's a little bigger facility. We want to bring more people here. I think lastly, I did move here from California. A lot of people think I'm from California. I grew up in a small town in Iowa. I had 19 kids in my graduating class, and I'm trying to play in the sandbox and be a good citizen in the community. I've lived here for 8 years, 7 years, I guess. My wife and I would like to stay here, and this is our approach. So that's what we bring to the table. It's a total game changer to waste management, and it can happen here in Putnam County. So if you got any questions, ask.
Before we take any questions, if there's anyone else that would like to offer testimony, I would like to hear from them, if that's okay with you guys, and then we can ask questions of whoever. So
all right.
Hang around. We might ask some questions. Mr. Warbus, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Three. I know Mr. Rowland, I think, is one. Willis.
about this organization, but my signs were bigger last time. Maybe we'll make it through this time. But I'm Dave Rowland. I am the president owner of Rowland Digital Media, 2300 West Jackson. Also, I'm the chairman of Next Step for Life that is at 1491 West Broad, both virtually next door to the facility on CC Camp Road within a few hundred feet either way. And to be honest with you, I'm here to speak against this for several reasons. And before I get started, if there's anybody back here that is in any way student, volunteer, any way that is associated with Next Step, would you raise your hand right now, stand up? Would you do that? All these folks back here are students, volunteers. And I've got Jennifer Willis. She's our director of the program with us. And Jennifer, how many people we serve at the time during the week during the Women's House? Around 30?
We have 30 students and staff. That's not including children that are in and out all the time.
Mr. Rowland, don't mean to interrupt. What we're tasked with doing is making a decision based on the Jackson Law and based on these 8 criteria. And if you would please, within reason, keep your testimony on those,
Thank you, Chairman.
on one or multiple of those.
That's one of those right there, what effect it is on the neighborhood, surrounding property. Thank you, sir. I've got some pictures right here. I have here, Commission, a panoramic shot I took this weekend. There is a apartment, Mr. Brown will address this later, apartment house right here. The Novastis facility is right here, about 300 feet away. And as you see back in the background, we've got Cane Creek Park, all within a few hundred feet. In my last presentation, I brought 2 large maps. We've also got Sycamore School and Cane Creek School in close proximity to this proposed facility. This picture right here was taken this weekend. It shows the kind of effect. This is taken from the CC campsite at Cane Creek Park. I didn't believe it when I saw it. They were still playing ball down there in the middle of November. Now, I'm not going to call his name, but there's a commissioner here tonight that 20 years ago, our kids were playing together in East Tennessee, and we played at this place that there was some kind of odor. I don't know exactly what we're doing. I heard of what we were doing. But we were in Loudon, Tennessee. We had to move that night all the way to Sweetwater to get away from the smell. I wonder what it's going to do to our Cane Creek Park when this facility moves in, if and when it does. In the background, some of these pictures, you also see the brand spanking new pickleball courts and the new splash pad within sight of the stack of this new facility or this existing facility. And they're talking about being able to do 10, 12 times a day what they're doing right now. In this picture right here, you can see standing on the edge of the Cane Creek Park property, CC Camp Road, and a close-up shot of this existing stack, the existing Novastis facility right across the street, a few hundred feet away. This picture right here I took this weekend. You can look real close, and we'll go slow with it. This is taken from Dogwood Park, from the kids' area. Williams, can I get you to read that across the top right there?
Heart of the City Playground supports young lungs at play.
It's a state grant, right?
It says grant, yes.
Anti-smoking. We're going to put something down there that's going to cause possible harm to children around in the county. Now, realize, Mr. Warvis says there's not going to be a smell. The county's going to dry out 100 tons of garbage a day and millions of feet of air without smell. How can you do that, Mr. Warvis? How can you do that? Can you do that? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to let you prove it in just a minute. And finally, this is the clincher. I'm going to let everybody look at this first. See if they've ever seen this before. where it is. He's right here from Tennessee. Can you identify this? Volunteer got to identify what it is, been there, seen it? Do you know what it is?
The entrance to the scale at the landfill.
Do you have any idea what that machine is right there? You want me to identify it? You want to identify it?
I'll let you identify it.
I'll let everybody else look at it. The entrance to TSC now, what used to be TSC, now it's SA. You know what it is, Mr. Stiles? What is that? The equipment to take care of the trash. No, it's not. Equipment to take care of the trash. It is a radiation detector. Every load that comes to that facility has to pass underneath that. Even the slightest amount of radioactive material gets stopped at the gate. They reject material from time to time. I want to ask the question, Mr. Warbus. Can you guarantee with 100% certainty that no radioactive material will ever enter that facility? Can you? Yes or no?
I don't think I'm supposed to answer you. I think I answer.
We'll answer them in a minute, then. You will. And finally, I've got a sample here. It was taken from our own recycling center. Jim, since you're a reporter, give me a whiff of that. Okay. What does it smell like? That smells like trash. I'm going to get that close to you. What does it smell like? It don't smell good at all. Mr. Warbus, take a whiff of your own stuff. What does it smell like? That's what you're doing there.
That's it. That's it.
He said money.
That was a mouthful.
That's what might be blowing right here. Folks, anybody from the commission will smell this?
I can smell it.
Mr. Ashburn here, this came directly from our report of our recycling center. I will smell it.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
I'm already up here. Is it okay? I'm Jennifer Willis.
If it's okay with Mr. Brown, I was given his name second, but there's not. That's fine.
Okay. Short and sweet. I would submit to you that if this was in your neighborhood or where you work all day, where you live, that you would not approve this. And so I'm asking you to protect us. Like he was trying to say earlier, we have 30 people right now to look after kids. My daughter goes to Sycamore. My son's in the daycare right down the road. I have asthma myself. This would be awful. You live close to this. You can't tell me that this is not going to affect. You can look up, I just looked it up on my phone. Look up waste on your phone and see the effects that it has, waste disposal, the effects that it has to be around it every day. It is a list of health problems, a list. And so it's a no-brainer. I can't even believe we're talking about it, to be honest. Next to a church, churches, schools, ball fields where kids play, our program. I can't believe we're even talking about this. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
My name's Tyler Brown. I own the property at 1334 West Broad Street. It consists of 15 family residential apartment units.
Mr. Brown, would you? Yeah.
It consists of 15 residential apartment units. So there's 15 or more families that live in a very close proximity to this factory. Most of them, the majority of them, are as close as 30 feet. So when they walk out their front door, they're 30 feet from setting foot on this factory and 100 feet from where the garbage is dumped directly. If y'all can see this, sign, here are the units right here. So you have about 25 feet from the front door to the edge of their road. As you can see, they're saying that this is a completely enclosed system, that all trash will be kept inside. Well, right now, you have trash that's dumped outside and tarped right now. So if y'all went over there today or yesterday or last week, there's trash outside
right now. We have had problems with trash blowing over on us and us having an extended amount to pick up. I'm very familiar with how the process works, the amount of trucks that will be coming in and out of here, and the trash that will blow. The wind carries it this way. So all the trash, all the smell, all the sludge that they create from the trucks, you know, you guys, if you've ever seen a garbage truck collect trash and you drive down the road, you've seen this stuff just run out of it, just like Mr. Rowland had here in the jar. When you dump trash, that stuff gets on the trucks, it gets on the equipment, it gets on the roads. You know, it creates a very big mess. You have these 15 families that live here. Behind, just directly behind those less than 100 foot, you have another 60 families, just in a close proximity. You also have a protected wetland that starts here and runs down through here, which sheds into Cane Creek Park. All of the water runoff from this factory, every bit of it, directly goes right there into the wetland, which then proceeds into Cane Creek Park. There is no way that they will contain all the trash, all the sludge, and all the runoff from this 100%. You will have implications into your water and into your park. Another note I would like to bring up is these apartments were here and these families were here long before this factory was here approved. And it will greatly impact them, all of their lives, and the property value of the people who had owned the apartments and have them there before the factory had come into play. This is my wife, Becky. She deals with tenants that live here on a day-to-day basis. She's talked to them. She's heard all their questions, complaints, worries, and she's going to speak a little on that, if that's okay.
I have parents that ask where can they play with their kids, and right here is their only option. Mothers and fathers, do you want to play ball with your kids next to a trash facility? I would think not. Would you want your vehicle to be exposed to all the contaminants, all of the trash, all of the liquids that come out and run off? I would think not. Most importantly, I'm here to protect the property value for myself and all of the surrounding people that live in that area, because it is primarily a residential area, even though it's not zoned residential. There are hundreds and thousands of families that are going to be affected. Just this year, the city of Cookeville and the state of Tennessee invested $2 million into Cane Creek Park. Whether it's splash pads, pickleballs, expanding walking trails, and whatnot. Do you think those things that we have invested our taxpayer dollars in to create are going to be used if this is what is adjacent? Would you want to take your animals and your kids to an area where all you smell is trash? You pick up litter constantly. I have to pay my staff to pick up their litter that's coming off of their property onto mine. And I don't think that's something that I should have to do. But here I am picking up their trash. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Anybody have any questions for any of the people that spoke, that testified, or any comments in general? Mr. Andrews, you're first.
Okay. I've got a couple things that I want to bring up. On this list, these are not for y'all if y'all want to sit down.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care if you stand there, but this is, there are a lot of residents down there. And this is going to bring in, I would assume, big trucks and hauling in and out. I don't know what hours of the day, probably during business hours. That's number three. Number four, I wonder if other counties have tried this and what their results were, and if anybody knows about that, I'd like to hear it. And number five, the impact of these heavy trucks is going to have an impact on the city roads, which we're not responsible for, but there is going to be some impact. But my biggest concern is, how does this affect the county and our contracts with our landfills that we go to the people that drive our trucks or the trucks that we contract with? And then is this going to use product, so to speak, that is paid for by the Putnam County taxpayer? Because our landfill and our sanitation department are not going to go out of business on account of this. And I wonder if they're going to be sharing trucks, landfill, and how is it going to affect the taxpayer?
Right now, Commissioner Andrews, right now, Putnam County has a contract with Waste Management as far as moving garbage from our transfer station to landfill, okay? And so we're not in a position to transfer municipal solid waste to anybody without the permission of these guys, or that's the position that we've taken, okay? So right now, given our contract, I don't know that it's going to impact the county as far as reduction of the municipal solid waste that we move per day. And we're talking somewhere between 90 to 100 tons of municipal solid waste a day.
I guess my question is, where do they take it? Where y'all going to take it? Where does it go? And how's it going to get there?
So, simple math, if we do 100 tons, we use everything except for the inerts. So the stuff that doesn't cause an issue at the landfill goes to the issue, or goes to the landfill. And that's about 10%. We'll have the same contract, or not the same contract, but we'll have a contract with the same people the county has to take our inert material to a landfill. But we're reducing the landfill diversion by about 90%, about 87 to 90%, because we use everything. We pull out the valuable stuff, and the rest of it we dry and turn into a fuel. So that's the biggest differentiator. So as far as other counties that have tried it, trust me when I tell you, I've been around the world looking at technology to do this and stumbled on to a system that was grinding asphalt shingles and using the air to classify the asphalt from the gravel and the paper fiberglass that's in the shingles. And they had tried some garbage a few years prior to me meeting them, and that's how we stumbled onto it. So I'm surprised that by one thing. We've got a neighbor 300 feet from us that says they've had a lot of complaints. And I think if they're honest with us tonight, I've probably called her to complain to her more about the people using our yard for the people walking their dogs to use the bathroom on our lawn than they have called us to complain about what we're doing.
Well, if you don't mind, let's stick to my question.
All right.
This may be a stupid question, but where are you picking this garbage up from, and where are you taking it once you process it?
So what's the process?
Yeah.
So right now, I have had invitations out to all of you over the last 3 or 4 years to come visit or in a group to come visit our facility. A few of you have been there, a few of you haven't. We're going to get garbage from other counties that want to have a waste landfill diversion.
From where?
Other counties.
Okay.
Surrounding counties. Some from private haulers that are going to the transfer station now. We don't need a lot. So our process is garbage truck comes in, backs into our facility.
But are you picking up garbage from this?
No, we're not a hauler. We're just a processor. They'll pay us.
Who brings it to you?
So right now we've got a few local people that are in the garbage business that will pay us instead of coming to the transfer station. We've got a group from Nashville that has 600 tons a day. When Middle Point closes, there's going to be a huge issue in the market. This facility is a first-of-a-kind commercial facility. And it's basically, in the packets that y'all had 2 months ago, it showed a skywalk going through our facility. To where if y'all wanted to come out and visit it, as the system's going, garbage smells when it comes in. It's no hidden, there's nothing hidden about garbage. In the middle of the summer, garbage smells. We pull a lot of air through our system. We contain the smell. When it comes in, it's putrefied. They call it putrefied smell. We shred everything that comes in, to try to get all sizes and shapes, open up the bags. We pull out the metals, then it goes through a trommel. We pull, and the inerts come out, the glass comes out. The rest moves on down the line. We pull it through an eddy current so we can pull out all the aluminum non-ferrous metals. And then at that point, it goes to a pair of optical sorters where we pull out everything that's in every plastic that's in your refrigerator or in your bathroom. So water bottles, pop bottles, milk jugs, shampoo bottles, that's the only thing that has any real value to it. We also pull off the PVC plastics because that contains chlorine and people can't burn that. So we pull off all of those. Those go to separate places. We bale it, sell the recyclables off as recyclables. What's left is the garbage, the wet, nasty stuff, and now it's at about, instead of in garbage bags and all different sizes, it's about 12-inch minus. And at that point, it goes into our pulverizing mill, where we're pulling air through, and in a few seconds, it comes out smelling like blown in, or looking like blown in insulation. And growing up on a farm, when I first started this, I kind of used my sights of smell, hearing, and eyes when I'm trying to work at things. When I know we've had a good run, I pick it up and smell it. When I can't smell it, it's a good run. So that's the fuel that we sell.
So how many counties are going to be bringing stuff in here?
At this time, I'm just probably 2.
And that would be who?
That'd be from Putnam. Some of the stuff will be coming from city, some of the private haulers that have routes in the city or in the county.
But you said a while ago we'd be getting it from other counties.
Yeah, there could be. We've talked to several counties around here. You've got a lot of landfill issues.
And that cardboard and those plastics that you are selling, and I'm not against private enterprise, I know me.
Right.
But the plastics and the cardboard that you're going to sell, if you weren't here, would be going through our system in the county, right?
Yeah, to the landfill.
And then the county would sell that and bring that back here.
To the landfill.
Sorry?
Goes to the landfill.
No. I'm talking about selling the cardboard and.
Yeah, the cardboard.
Let me finish. If you're not selling the cardboard, if you're selling the cardboard and the plastics, is that not cardboard and plastics that Putnam County would be selling if you weren't here?
Well, you'd have to ask Putnam County if they're selling that.
Well, I think they are.
Okay.
I'll make a motion if you need one.
You certainly have the floor.
I'll make a motion we deny this, whatever we got to do.
I'll second it. Under which provisions of the Jackson Law would we be denying this?
I think number 6 speaks for itself. The economic impact is detrimental to the taxpayers of Putnam County. That's just my opinion. And then I think our infrastructure, whichever number it is, there's trucks coming in from different counties, and by the way, bringing other counties' garbage to our county, and ended up probably in our landfill. And I think this is just disqualifying in and of itself.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. We have
seated or, sorry.
We have other speakers that wish to speak. Going down the list, assuming Mr. Andrews, you're done?
Go right ahead.
Commissioner Williams, you would be next if your comments and questions pertain to the motion. If not, I'll put you on the list after.
No, that's fine. They can pertain to the motion just as well. So I went today, and Mr. Warbus gave me Mr. Warbus is my place?
Yeah.
Okay. Gave me a tour and showed me the facility, and I did not call ahead to see. I didn't want a dog and pony show. I showed up unannounced, and he walked me through the process. And one thing that I noticed was that there was no odor, and I saw no trash. Now, I did see a blue tarp over a pile of something. Someone has said that's trash. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I did see that. I love the big picture of what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is take a lot of trash, turn it into little bitty pellets, pull out the parts that can be recycled, recycle them, and use less landfill space. I mean, this county, since I've been on the commission, we've had to purchase additional land for landfill. And if we were able to put pellets in there instead of bulk trash, maybe we wouldn't have to purchase so much land. And it's my understanding what you're trying to do is develop a proof of concept, which you're pretty far along that process, and then broaden it out so that these type facilities can be built all over the country. And this can also be a teaching facility so that people from around the country who want to see what you're doing can come here and see and learn from your process. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair assessment of what we're doing.
Okay. Now, when I was standing, the pictures we saw there were the apartment, and then there's a concrete driveway that goes down, and then there's some grass, and then there's your building there. If this is expanded, that's not the driveway that these trucks are going to use. Is that correct?
No, yeah, that's correct. Everything's off of CC Camp Highway.
So they wouldn't be using that driveway anyway. That would just be more admin employees coming down there.
Right.
So the trucks would be coming off the other side.
Yes.
And coming in the same gravel parking lot that used to be used by the FedEx trucks. Is
Yes.
that correct? And that FedEx building that they just moved out of. So that road is already accustomed to heavy truck traffic. It's now a different truck. In terms of odor abatement, and I know, and you're kind of a scientific guy, and I've noticed you speak sometimes in scientific jargon, and occasionally that'll go over my head, maybe some others. But basically what it amounts to is you have this massive vacuum system that pulls all the air from the outside in, filters it, and cleans it before it's released to the outside.
Right.
Is that a way of summing that up?
Yeah.
So if there's a truck that backs in there and you're unloading this truck, the air is pulling it toward the inside of the building, so garbage isn't going to blow out of the building. It's going to come into the building, and odors are not going to go out of the building. It's going to come into the building. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's a correct statement.
Okay. So I do understand that I wouldn't want to be next to a landfill. I wouldn't want to be next to the transfer station. They stink. This isn't either one of those two things. This is somebody trying to reduce waste, be environmentally friendly, and it does create jobs here. I get it. I know there's more than one way to interpret this, but I don't see anything based on what I've seen. I don't see anything that they are doing that violates the spirit of these. But I understand that good people are going to see it differently. So that's just what I have to say about that.
Yeah, and the only thing I've invited anybody at any time to come in and see what it is we do. I mean, because you can say you don't want it, but if you don't know what it is we're doing, how do you make a decision on that? I get it. I don't want garbage in my backyard. I live 2.5 miles from this facility.
Mr. Chaffin, I believe you're next.
How many tons did you process today?
Today, nothing. We had Oak Ridge National Labs that called us. We're working with Oak Ridge National Labs, developing a computer model, and we did a changeover of our configuration of our system.
Okay, so you had no trash.
Not today.
Probably.
No, they weren't processing. I asked them when the last time they processed. They said it's Friday afternoon.
All right, so on the average, what do you process?
Probably on the average, we do, a heavy day for us is at our limit of 16 ton, but we probably do more in the order of 4 to 5 tons a day.
All right, so you're saying, and I'm sure that's documented because it's a research and development. Okay. All right, so you're asking, when you increase the size of your facility, you're going to be 5, 6 times larger than what you're doing now?
Not right away, but we're going to, we're going to get permitted for that.
That's what you're potentially wanting.
Yeah, we're investing, $10 to $12 million in the system, and our idea is to get, some of that back, which we haven't for the last 5 years.
But did you say 5 tons a day is what you're doing now?
We're permitted for 16, but we average probably 4 to 5 tons.
A day?
A day.
And then
because we may have a day where we do nothing, we may have a day where
we're doing now, and what level are you going to?
So we're going.
Mr. Sandlin, sorry, but you don't have the floor right now.
Well,
Mr. Chaffin still does.
Yeah,
We're going to.
So you're wanting to get up to the level of 100 ton a day?
Yeah, over the next probably 12 months, we'd like to be up to 100 ton a day.
All right. Here's where I see that there's a potentially a problem. When you go to 5 and 6 times more than what you're doing now, I mean, you're going to get up on these 80, 90, 100-degree days, and you can't say, I mean, you can't prove that there won't be a smell. Is that true?
No, garbage smells.
Okay.
But we do the same thing today.
All right. We have ball fields within sight distance of your facility. This county, Putnam County, and the city of Cookeville, we have ball tournaments every weekend during the fall, spring, and summer. And so I just feel like there's a potential of an economic impact to Putnam County if we approve this, because that's going to possibly cause us not to be able to have those ball tournaments like we want.
I just want you to realize the difference between a transfer station and a processing facility.
But with both of them, you still have the smell.
You do.
Okay.
But with us, tonight it's not there.
Because you didn't have anything today.
No, that's not. In a commercial facility, we're processing it as it comes in. Today we have to batch. We have to batch stuff. We have a small front-end system. When we build the facility next door, it's a commercialized facility that never stops from front to back throughout the day that garbage comes to the facility. So right now we have a batch.
Anything else? Mr. Hall.
Yes, sir. Mr. Rowland brought up a question I'd like for you to answer, and that would be about the radioactivity. You remember that? Are you familiar with the term fluff? And what's under that tarp?
Well, the tarp that's outside, that's two different paper mills, stuff that we process that they haven't come to pick it up yet. So they want to run it through their boilers. Had I known that they were going to, wait this long to do it, I'd have probably just processed it and baled it and had the bales sitting there instead of they want it in bulk because they're going to run it through their boilers.
Okay. And radioactive?
No.
But his issue with things coming through radioactive?
He has a point. When we're on a commercial scale, we'll have at our scales, we'll have the radioactive meters, sensors, just like he does. On our grapple, we'll have a radio sensor. I'm not an engineer. I come from a farm, but I got a lot of common sense. And we can't produce a fuel that takes a exit sign that's nuclear and transmit it into several tons of fuel. So we'll pull the radioactive stuff out just like it will. We'll reject the load if the signs go off.
Okay, and the last thing I'd like for you to address is the fluff issue. The trucks that will be taking that fluff away, they're not under your control.
No.
So if a carrier came in and did not put a cover over the load, you all would have no control over that, right?
True, if they did that, but the fluff is so light you can't fill a truck with it. So the trucks that would be filling would be trucks that are vans with tops that have walking floor trailers on them. We would have a transpacker for the people that want bulk. So the fluff would go into our transpacker, push the material in. It has no memory, so at least we're able to get a full load by weight onto that truck. And those trucks are enclosed again with doors side and back. The people that don't need it in bulk, we will bale it, and then it'll be cross-wrapped. So.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Mr. Sandlin, you're next.
Well, I apologize a while ago to Commissioner Chapman. I didn't mean to. I was having trouble understanding. I want to know about the volume. Right now, you are doing 5 tons a day on a good day.
Right.
And you're going to go to, so that's
100 tons.
That's 25 tons
20 times
a week. You're going to go to 100 tons a day.
Yeah.
That's 20 times a day more of garbage.
Yeah.
That you're going to be running through that facility, that you're going to be trucking in. You're going to bring it in where it doesn't emit any smell, and then it's going to be processed. How long does it take to process 100 tons?
So we process 10 tons an hour is what we process. The dewatering side processes roughly about 6 tons an hour. So, because when we bring it in, it's got everything in it. We pull off the recyclables, the inerts, and that gets us down at our front end pairs up with what our back end system does. But it's kind of neat. You got to admit that at the transfer station, you bring in 100 tons. 100 tons gets hauled to the landfill. You bring in 100 tons to us, and 10 or 12 tons goes to it.
They're not in the middle of humanity like you are down there.
Well, ask people just north of it.
I think we could pick and choose, Mr. Chairman. I think you could impact on noise and odor, impact on property values, impact on traffic, economic impact. I think we can pick and choose which criteria this doesn't fit. It's just...
Yeah, you all got to vote for your heart.
Why don't you get out somewhere 15 miles from anything and just rock and roll? But you've got I drove down there this weekend. You've got an apartment building across the street. You've got apartment complexes across Highway 70. You've got big apartment complex down on Jackson, west of you. And then the ball fields, I went down there. Golly, there was several hundred people there and you're right in the middle of all of that humanity trying to run 100 tons of garbage a day without making any noise, disturbing anybody, or anything.
It's a great thing.
I just wanted to understand the scope of the...
I understand.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Sandlin? Thank you. Commissioner Dunn.
Yes, we've heard what the financial implications could potentially be from lost revenue from ball tournaments and different things, but I haven't heard what would be the financial benefits, if any, to the county.
You know, it's hard to put a number on that. We're not Google. We're not Amazon. But we're changing the way garbage will be handled over the next decade. And we're the pioneers of a disruptive change in the waste industry. We know that. It's an uphill battle. You know, there's every city, big and small, has a challenge with garbage, and that's what made me get into this business. And for us, we're hiring 22 new employees. I said the other night at the City Hall meeting, the first 2 employees I hired were from a halfway house coming right out of jail. I believe in giving everybody a second start. Every one of these people at Mr. Rowland's facility can come over and apply to our facility and get a new start and have a 8-hour job going on. So there's also, we estimate, probably 125 communities a year that will come into Putnam County to see to see the technology. Most of the time they stay for about 2 nights. Biggest group we've had is 12 people, and big groups bring their spouses, small groups don't. And you all are part of the pioneering change to that. And I don't know if you can put a price tag on that or not. As far as us, we're investing $10 million in new technology to disrupt that technology and be a pioneer in it.
Thank you.
Mr. Hall, before, you've already spoken, so before I call on you again, anyone else on the commission wish to speak or ask any questions? Commissioner Hall.
I'm going to say this, not trying to be funny. Have you thought about looking at another location that's more acceptable, i.e. the chicken plant in Monterey, Tennessee?
No. I've looked at other facilities, most of them are in the state of Florida.
It's open and for sale. I don't know the price, but it was the largest employer in Putnam County. It's a very large building, and all these issues are not there. It's right next to the interstate. Could someday have rail service. Thank you all for not laughing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Speak. So before we vote on the motion, I'm going to restate, and Commissioner Andrews, make sure I restate your motion correctly. the motion that you made, was to deny this request based on items 5 and item 6 in the Jackson Law, specifically traffic and infrastructure and economic impact. Is that correct? That is correct. That's the motion that is on the floor. I will remind the commission before we vote, this isn't about voting whether you like this, you don't like this. This isn't about voting whether you think it's the greatest thing in the world, you think it's the worst thing in the world. This is about voting whether they have met the requirements of the Jackson Law. Given the discussion and the interest in this, I'm going to ask the county clerk to take a roll call vote. We'll use our, the motion is to deny. So if you want to deny, you vote yes. If you do not want to deny, you vote no.
Mr. Chairman, is it too late to ask one final question?
No. Yeah, we haven't started roll call. No.
This is for you. If the county were to deny this facility, what would your next course of action be?
Well, our current facility is permitted for 16 tons. We've gone through the Jackson Law process. We can stay at that facility and just go to TDEC and increase the tonnage rate to 30,000 tons a year instead of what we have right now. It'll be a little shoehorn. It'll be stuff pushed in there, be a little tight, but our engineers designed the system to be able to go in there and do that. So that's our fallback plan if it doesn't pass tonight on this facility.
So you're going to increase the capacity regardless?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Any other questions?
Repeat that one more time. Repeat the motion again. Or no,
the motion is to deny based on item 5 and item 6, which is traffic and infrastructure and economic impact. Mr. Bennett.
Can we add item number 3 to that list?
That's up to Commissioner Andrews that made the motion, or you can make an amendment to do that.
I'll yield.
Add it.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll make that part of my motion.
Who seconded that? Mr. Chaffin, you're agreeable to that? That's within Robert's Rules of Order upon agreement by the person that made the motion and seconded it. Mr. Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets. Remember, hang on just a second. If you vote yes, you're voting to deny. If you vote no, you're voting to not deny. Everyone please vote, and please stop right there. All votes are in. Everybody understand what you voted? Anybody want to change their votes anywhere? All right, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 19 voting yes, 2 voting no. You have 2 absent and 1 vacancy. I declare that item 2 have passed to deny the application.
Mr. Chairman, any other?
No other business. We're adjourned with that.
Thank you. Number 2, Fiscal Review Committee.
Thank you. Item A recommends approval of a new EMA position to be shared with schools in Tennessee Tech University, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none.
All right. Take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote, and please stop right there. All votes are in. Anyone wishes to change your vote anywhere, please now press confirm for me. Everybody press confirm, ladies and gentlemen. Chair, there are 21 voting yes, 0 no, 2 absent, and 1 vacancy. I declare that motion to have passed. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item B recommends approval of budget amendments to the county general fund, and I so move.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments to the county general fund. Any discussion?
All right, seeing none, take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Please stop right there. Hang on. Mr. Andrews. No, wait, please don't confirm yet. All right, all votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please hit confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press and confirm. Mr. Chairman, there are 21 voting yes, 0 no, 2 absent, and 1 vacancy. When the roll is called, I declare that motion to have passed. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item C recommends approval of budget amendments to the general purpose school fund, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments to the general purpose school fund. Any discussion?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Please stop right there. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change your vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, there are 21 voting yes, 0 no, 2 absent, and 1 vacancy. When the roll is called, I declare that motion to have passed.
Thank you, and that concludes fiscal review.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 3, nominating committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The nominating committee has 2 nominees for the Library Board of Trustees. They are Diane Duncan and Mary Lee Butcher, to the board for 3-year term expiring June of 2028.
We have 2 nominations to consider.
We have 2 nominees to consider.
For the library board. Given the
we have
discussion.
Diane Duncan and Mary Lee Butcher. I'm not sure.
Given the discussion about that, and I apologize, is Ms. Duncan and Ms. Butcher here? If you would like, we would ask both of you to come up, and if you would like to address the commission, give you a couple of minutes to do that. Go ahead. She's up.
Hi, I'm Diane Duncan. I worked at the Putnam County Library for 20 years, first as the bookkeeper, and then interim director, and then the library director. Because of those jobs, I feel like I have a working knowledge of the library's responsibility to the community. From my years of bookkeeping, I know how to create a library budget and how to keep within the budget. I believe every child should be read to at a very early age. Learning to read for knowledge and pleasure are important for creating productive adults. Because of this belief, I worked with the Dollywood Foundation, the Governor's Early Literacy Foundation, and the County Commission and the Cookeville City Council to bring the Imagination Library to the preschoolers of Putnam County. That program has mailed out over 634,000 books to children living in Putnam County in the last 20 years. I am a great supporter of literacy, and I feel like serving on the library board would give me an opportunity to work with literacy within our county.
Thank you, Ms. Duncan. And if you wouldn't hang around up here in case anybody has any questions for you afterwards.
Hi, I'm Mary Lee Booker. I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent who kids used the library when they were growing up. I raised 5 sons who are avid readers today of all kinds of literature, classical literature, popular literature. I spent 17 years teaching at various universities, at Tennessee Tech, Eastern Kentucky University, Volunteer State, and another volunteer college in Kentucky. I taught composition, I taught literature. I loved inspiring students to love reading and to love writing. I come at this from a different angle and a different perspective. When I took my grandson to the library last March with a friend of his for a play date, the other mom was having to look up every book that her daughter brought her. They're in second grade. They were in second grade. And she had to look them up to make sure that they were appropriate for her. I want my grandchildren to enjoy the library like my sons did growing up. They have done a great job this past summer with their outreaches to children, and they've made it even more fun than it was then. But I want to see it as a safe environment where they can go and pull any book off the shelf, and a parent can put their phone away because they're not concerned that they're getting inappropriate material. I don't have the library experience from an organizational standpoint, but I have the love for literature that I believe would benefit and find its niche in that place.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Vicento.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank both of you. Ms. Duncan, you're welcome to have a seat, please, or we'll move over for you there. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I think we've had a good turnout for the library portion of this.
Mr. Vicento, make sure you're in your microphone good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I want to thank everyone again for being here. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of interest in this library appointment position. This is something I got involved in back in June with the library, and what had happened to bring everybody up to speed and make sure we're all looking at this from the same perspective. And I'm phrasing this in a question, although it's going to be a little bit of a longer statement, but it's going to be a question both for you, Ms. Duncan, and for you, Mary Lee. There was a group of concerned citizens. You heard from one of them earlier, Jill Horner, who circulated some material around to city council, county commissioners, and other people in the community, raising a concern that there was literature in the library, primarily in the young adult section, which is ages 13 to 17, that was of a sexually explicit nature. What I did, as most people probably would do when they got that material, is I went and got the books and reviewed them. And I was, to be honest with you, without grandstanding, I was shocked with what was in there for ages 13. I've worked closely with the library director, Dr. Weisinger, the library board, attended a couple of their meetings with a lot of this discussion. And I think it's important that we clarify what Mr. Rader spoke to when he's using the word sexually explicit. I've gotten 20, 25 phone calls. Some of you that I spoke with on the phone may be here today. And I just want to read a couple of things that I personally pulled out of the Putnam County Library to give you an understanding of what sexually explicit material is being referred to. And my question's going to be coming back to Ms. Duncan and to Ms. Mary Lee as to what your position on this would be as a board member. The first book I want to reference is a book called, if there are any children in here, although this was in the children's section of the library, I will give everybody an opportunity to step out if you would like. Thank you, Commissioner Andrews, for reminding me of that. So the litmus test that I personally use to determine sexually explicit material is, as a 55-year-old man, if I were to share this information with a 13-year-old, would I or would I not?
Hold up. Commissioner Vincento, yes. Please hold up.
Yes, I am waiting to read. So the litmus test, as I said, is, what position would I be in as far as Tennessee law and Tennessee code? And I can tell you that Highland Insider worked to print some of these excerpts earlier in the summer when this first came out. And to my understanding, and you can confirm me if I'm wrong, but your attorneys would not allow you to print this material and put it in the paper. Is that correct? One of the first things I did is try to use ChatGPT to get book reviews on these, and there was a block that came up in my ChatGPT that said they could not show me this material for child obscenity laws. And that was a red flag in and of itself. And I'm going to share 3 quick examples with you. For the sake of time, I'm not going to read a lot. This first one is not the book. This is my personal review that I submitted to the library on this. I gave this directly to Catherine Weisinger several months ago. But this is a book called Let's Talk About It. It's a graphic novel, so it's kind of like a comic book. On page 64, by the way, it was written by Erica Moen and Matthew Nolan, as well as illustrated by her. On page 64 and 65, she draws out several pictures of nude individuals. On page 147 to 153, the entire section is letting these 13-year-olds understand what sexting is, which is the art of sending pictures to each other in a sexually explicit manner. It also encourages them to take pictures of their genitalia and share it with each other, and explains to them how to go about doing that. On page 164, it encourages the use of the internet for kinks and fantasies and pornography, telling these 13-year-olds to go to a porn site and pay for it. And then on page 165, it moves forward and illustrates and depicts with a picture of how to have oral sex. This book was housed on shelf 9741-5973 in a section with a large colorful sign saying graphic, and it is eye level for a young child. Okay? The next book, and this one was a real surprise to me because the author is Judy Blume. Judy Blume, you guys might remember when I was a kid, wrote the Tales of the Fourth Grade Nothing. I mean, she was a great author. It's one that I would have been very surprised if one of my children had in their hands that maybe had an area in there that I wouldn't want them to do. But again, on the 13-year-old and up section, and I'm going to read. This is an excerpt from this book. I printed this off of the internet. Catherine and Michael. A romance progresses rapidly from kissing to sexual intercourse, and Catherine gets the pill. But will their love last forever? Feeling him against me that way made me so excited I could lie still. He rolled over on top of me, and we moved together again, and it felt so good. I didn't ever want to stop until I came. After a minute, I reached for Michael's hand. "Show me what you do." I said, "Do whatever you want." "Well, help me, Michael. I feel so stupid." "Don't," he said, wiggling out of his pajama bottoms. He led my hand to his penis. "Catherine, I'd like you to meet Ralph." "Ralph? This is Catherine. She's a very good friend of mine." "Does every penis have a name?" "I can only speak for my own," he said. "In books, penises are always described as hot and throbbing, but Ralph's felt like ordinary skin. Just his shape was different. That and the fact that it wasn't smooth exactly, as if a lot's going on under the skin." That gives you a gist of this book. I could go on a little bit further, but I don't think, it's necessary in that case.
What is the name of the book?
That book is Judy Blume. The title is Forever. Forever. And then I have one more that I'd like to read a brief excerpt from. This book is called Camp. It's written by L.C. Rosen. This has got a very long excerpt that I can tell you is very, very graphic all the way through, and I'm definitely not going to read the whole thing, but I do want to point out a couple of key areas. And this book, again, was located, because, and I say was, because the library has, to my understanding, moved these titles, because this took place back in June. So the book Camp goes on. I'll start here. I lose track of time, but I'm also aware of every moment of this. It's just that moments have no meaning, time-wise, until I can feel the need to stop or else and ask him if he's a spitter or a swallower. Okay, he says after enough time, pulling me back to him, and we kiss. "I want you in me," he says. My eyes widen a little. "If you want?" "Are you sure?" I ask. "I mean, I could." He grins and says, "You're new to this. Let's start this way if you want. We don't have to." And I nod, cutting him off. "Yes," I said quickly, "I'm not saying no at all. I'm checking every box I can on the virginity scorecard tonight." He turns back to his sleeping bag, letting me admire the perky slopes of his ass. And he pulls out several packets of lube and a condom. "You'll have to show me," I say. "Okay," he says, "let's start with your finger." I hold out my hand, and he opens a pack of lube onto his hand and mine, and then he reaches behind himself. I test the lube between my hands, and it feels almost like Jell-O. He smiles and turns onto his stomach so I can watch him lube everything up and push his own finger into himself. He says, he sighs deeply and then pulls it out. And I'm not going to go any further, but it goes on into a graphic anal sex scene that's perpetrated in grave detail. So for those of you that have been sharing things on Facebook, sharing messages with us and different things, asking what this interest is, it's sexual perversion, and it doesn't belong in the child section. Now, what I really want to say is the library responded well when they found this material, and it has not been removed from the library. So if you're out there and you want your children to read this book, it's still there at the library and will be, and should be, because we don't believe in censoring books. But what we do believe in is protecting children and make sure that material like this of a sexual nature is in the adult section of the library. And my question for the two people that are on the board is, number one, what's your response to this material? Do you believe in the fact that the library has begun moving this material? And are you going to be behind them on this, or do you believe that this type of material, giving a national rating from library organizations that says it belongs in a 13-year-old section, do you feel it belongs there? That would be my question. To Ms. Duncan, would you like to respond first?
The meeting that I was at, that this information was read, I was very shocked that that was in the young adult section of our library. And I was sure that the librarians had no idea, because I'm sure they used the appropriate things to vet what books they put on the shelf. And as you said, Judy Blume is a very popular author. She does, very controversial things. She is one of those authors that gets censored quite a bit. So that doesn't surprise me with her. The other authors I'm not familiar with at all. I think Catherine has taken appropriate action. I've realized that the people who have discussed this do not want to ban books, and I appreciate that. So I think that the library board and the librarians who order books will be much more careful about the books. They can't read every book that comes through the library. That would be impossible. So that's when they have to rely on other people who review the books professionally. So, as I said, I think Catherine and the library board have taken the correct steps.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Could I...
I think it's incredibly important to encourage the library to continue its efforts to maintain the innocence of the library in the children's section so that children aren't confronted with this content. I don't agree with book banning. I make choices for what goes in my own library, but those books do not belong in the children's section. And if I had run across one of those books with my children or my own children, I would have been very hesitant to ever have brought my child back again or my grandchild. And I want our local library to be one that takes care of its children and allows them to thrive, to read, to be successful, to read wonderful books. And as parents, we don't have to live concerned, cautious, and not wanting to take our children to the library. So I love what Catherine has done. I love that they're taking those books out of the children's section. I don't think they have any place being there. I think banning has been a false argument in a lot of ways because every year I'm sure that they take books off the shelves and replace them with other books. That there are choices that are made all the time for what goes on the shelves in the library. They only have so much space. People make choices for what goes on those shelves and what is taken off those shelves. And those choices are not considered banning. They're considered choices for what they're including in their library at that time. And I would hope that they continue the efforts to be vigilant to make sure that these kind of books aren't on the shelves in the children's section.
Thank you very much. And, one more, Dr. Weisinger. Would you like to come up and address Dr. Weisinger as the director of the library and has become a friend?
My name is Catherine Weisinger. I am the director of the Putnam County Library. I feel like I'm so loud. I really appreciate, I want to start by saying that I do really appreciate everything you all as a county commission do for Putnam County. These past few months have given me an even deeper understanding of the challenges you have to face all the time. So thank you very much for all that you do for Putnam County. I grew up in Cookeville. I was born and raised here. I always went to the Cookeville Library. I loved it as a child. And I do appreciate that libraries are very essential parts of a community, and that we are so fortunate to have such an excellent library system here in Putnam County. It is an exceptional return on investment to our taxpayers, which I'm sure you appreciate. And I also am sure you appreciate how difficult it is to run an institution that is responsible for representing 83,000 very different individuals, which is what we are tasked to do every single day at the Putnam County Library. I believe that we do it very well. We work really hard every day to provide a different resource or opportunity for all of our residents in Putnam County. And recently, we have had several book challenges, and I believe that from the start, we have been very committed to responding to all of those challenges. I've worked with several of you here on the commission, as well as some of our city council members, and of course, our dedicated staff of professional librarians. We have worked very hard to make sure that we have moved any sexually explicit material from the young adult section to the adult section. Our Board of Trustees and our staff have taken all these concerns very seriously. While we have traditionally relied on publishers to help us make decisions, they have been really what we've relied on, kind of the measuring stick for the library. We do recognize that those standards are shifting. And fortunately, once again, we have a really highly qualified, dedicated staff that has helped us navigate these issues. And we are committed to not only working through these book challenges, but we're also committed to completing a thorough, age-appropriate review of all of the juvenile and young adult section. I would further say that we could not have managed any of this process without the very strong support of our Library Board of Trustees. When you consider a candidate that must have the knowledge and experience to serve on this board, you will find none more qualified than Diane Duncan. She served for years as the library director, and she just has so much wisdom about how to run the library. She would be such an asset for the Putnam County Library. And many of you probably also remember her late husband, Bob Duncan, who sat alongside you and served as a commissioner of this county for many years. So Diane has a really unique perspective. She is able to not only bring her wisdom and understanding from a library perspective, but she also really understands the responsibility of your role. And I will say that's something that I am just now really coming to appreciate. I am very grateful for the support for this library in the room today. Again, I will say that librarians aren't known for public speaking, but it is so encouraging to see how many people are standing up for the freedom to read and the freedom for parents to make choices for their own children. I do wish it were under better circumstances. I do feel like the library should be the place where we all find common ground, because no matter what our differences are, the library is here to provide choices for all 83,000 residents of Putnam County. And once again, I do appreciate what a difficult task that is, and I think that Diane Duncan would be a fantastic choice to help the library moving forward. I really appreciate Mary Lee and all of the things she can also bring to the library. And we do have more positions coming. The Board of Trustees, they have expiring terms, and I know that our board would absolutely consider and look at candidates when those board spaces are available. So thank you very much. I'm open to any questions you might have, and I really hope I see every single one of you at the Putnam County Library.
Dr. Weiss, one question. I wait for the applause to die down because you deserve it.
I didn't hear you.
While we're together here and, everybody's here and listening, I just want to ask you a question. Have I, as a commissioner, as an individual, and I'm going to bring Vice Mayor Eldridge, has he or I, in any interaction that we have over the hours, ever asked you to ban a book?
You have never asked me to ban a book.
Okay, thank you. And also, have we ever tried to push any change of library policy or procedures, or when these things came up, did we just follow the procedures that you had and leave it in your hands?
You have not asked me to change any of the policies or procedures.
I just wanted to clarify that because there's been a lot of talk that
Yes.
we've tried to do that, and I think you and I both wanted to clear the air on that, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
I yield. I'm done.
Does anyone else have any more questions?
Mr. Andrews.
I just going to make a statement. It's my turn.
It's your turn.
Well, just to be fair, I've looked at the minutes to some of the meetings of the library board, and on October the 14th this year, they had a meeting in section 7 of their minutes, prior to knowing there'd be this many people here tonight. It says the book challenges have been addressed and the results communicated to those issuing the challenges. Graphic novels have been relocated from the young adult to the adult section. And I just want to be fair and point that out. And another thing I want to make sure everybody knows here, that nobody up here on this board wants to ban books, in my opinion. And there is a process that you can go through. If you find something at the library that is questionable, you can challenge it. And the last thing I want to say is the email that you sent out was very informative. And in the first section of the fourth part, the entire young adult graphic novel, like comic books, section was relocated to the adult section. This was done proactively and not in response to a book challenge. So I just wanted to say thank you for being proactive.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Dunn.
So I just wanted to say that I've received numerous calls from community members expressing support for Diane Duncan for the open position on the library board. And they've shared with me that Diane has been a longtime supporter of our county library, and that many residents have noted her consistent involvement and interest in its success. So as the board considers candidates for this role, I just simply want to share the feedback I've received from the community and acknowledge their interest in her potential service. I personally know Mary Lee, and I know that she would also be an asset on the library board. With that being said, since we have so much interest in the library, I mean, this is awesome.
I love it.
I'm a reader, so this is just fantastic, okay? So my question is, since we do have so much interest in folks wanting to serve, why not change the bylaws and expand the number who can serve on the board from 9 to 11? I think it's wonderful that we have people who care, are passionate, and want to serve.
So our bylaws state that we can go from 7 to 9, and that would be a library board of trustees choice.
Correct.
I think.
That's what
Okay.
yes,
Yeah, it would be 7 to 9.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone who called me gave me the wrong number, so
Gotcha.
I apologize.
No problem.
No problem.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes, thank you. The library shouldn't be political. I don't. I don't want to see any books banned. I also don't want to see young children stumbling upon sexually explicit material. I believe the library is a place for everyone. I believe the library is a place where kids ought to be protected. And as commissioner, I wish we had the ability to put both of these ladies on the board. I do. I think there's a seat for both of them. But that's not the question before us tonight. The question before us tonight is to choose one. And fortunately, there are going to be some other openings coming up. So whoever does not make it tonight, I hope they will continue to apply. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a good process for that, I hope one is developed. But as commissioner, my first job is to represent the people who let me sit in this chair. And I've had many phone calls and texts and emails like so many others of you have had. And there are people I like and respect and agree with who support both candidates. And so this has been a little bit more of a challenge for me than some other votes have been. But District 1 doesn't pick up the phone and call their county commissioner very often because we are a district that lies entirely within the city limits of Cookeville. So District 1 gets more excited about city issues than it does county issues.
But my vote tonight will reflect the overwhelming opinion of the District 1 voters who have contacted me.
Let me say that my wife couldn't be here tonight. She enjoys it. But if she were here, she would not be surprised at the next statement that I'm about to make. I messed up before we started discussion. I should have asked if there were any further nominations from the floor. I will do so now, and if there are, we will proceed on. Are there any additional nominations from the floor? I don't see any. Is there any further questions or discussion before we vote? If not,
Check. One. All right, here's what we're going to do. As I call your name, just vocalize your selection tonight. Everybody understand? So whoever you are supporting, just tell me that, and I will put an X by their name, all right?
but, Mr. Clerk, before you call the roll, let me make sure everybody understands. With Mr. Randolph's vacancy, the commission currently consists of 23 people. 12 people is the majority.
Correct.
Normally it would take 13 if there were
Correct.
24 of us, but there's only 23 right now. It takes 12. Sorry.
We have two.
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. No, the absence doesn't, it's just the vacancy. All right, here, everybody ready? Here we go. Commissioner Williams.
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Vondra.
Ms. Booker.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Chaffin.
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Gentry.
Mary Lee.
Mr. Eldridge is absent. Commissioner Tays.
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Hall.
Ms. Booker.
Commissioner Facento.
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Phipps.
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Cassidy.
Ms. Booker.
Mr. Johnson left us. I'm going to mark him. Actually, this would be, I'm going to do this, it's abstain. All right. Commissioner Matson.
Ms. Duncan.
Commissioner Bennett.
Ms. Booker.
Commissioner Holmes.
Mrs. Duncan.
Commissioner Rogers.
Mrs. Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Moss.
Ms. Booker.
Commissioner Riddle.
Mary.
I'm sorry?
Mary Booker.
Mary. All right. Commissioner Bradford?
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Dunn?
Diane Duncan.
Commissioner Wilson?
Ms. Booker.
Ms. Reel is absent. Commissioner Andrews?
Duncan.
Hang on. If my calculation is correct, Ms. Duncan receives 12 votes. Ms. Booker receives 8. We have 2 absent. Actually, 3 absent. Well, you have 2 absent and an abstain and a vacancy. So as Ms. Duncan has received 12, Ms. Duncan, we declare you to have won the board seat tonight.
Madam Chair, anything further from nominating?
That concludes nominating. Thank you.
Report of special committees? Are none.
There's none.
Resolutions?
No resolutions, Mr. Chairman.
Election of notaries.
We have just a few notaries. Casey Bates, Donna S. Bowman, Victoria K. Burns, Sherry Kennan, Candy Cravens, Jessica Randy Fincher, Jeannie Hedrick, Taylor King, Katie Kuhn, Sheila Lee, Alan Brantley McKenzie, Kristen Parker, Donna Robinson, Frank George Smith, and last, Nikki Stum.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the notaries. Any discussion? Seeing none?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll just take your handsets, press yes for me. Everybody press yes. And then go ahead and hit confirm. All you're doing is just confirming what my office has already got completed by the notaries, and they're all done. No. Yes, abstain. Yeah. And now hit confirm. All right. Good. All right, Mr. Chairman, you have 20 yes. Motion carries.
Any other new business? Announcements and statements. Just as a reminder, the Rules Committee will meet right after the meeting is over. We'll meet over here in the little conference room. Let me say, I know a lot of people are leaving. There are obviously a lot of our citizens here tonight that are very concerned about things going on in our county. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate Ms. Duncan. I appreciate Ms. Booker. Catherine, I don't know where you went. I'm not good at seeing people in a crowd. I appreciate our library. If there are no other announcements, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Thank you for bringing me your handsets, please. Thank you so much.